Hi, this is Joe, and this is the Filmjoe Podcast, where film talk happens.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, I'm Joe, your host, and I'm here with Carlos.
Carlos.
So, and welcome to the podcast where we talk about films, filmmakers, trends, the good, the bad, and the not so bad, all in the spirit and for the love of film. So, on today's episode, we are discussing Memorial Day. And we will, in honor and in memory of those men and women who died in the service of this country, Marines, sailors, soldiers, and airmen. Did you know that it was actually Memorial Day was called Decoration Day?
Decoration?
Yeah, and it began during the American Civil War, where citizens placed flowers on the graves of those who had been killed in battle, both the North and the South, Confederate and the Union soldiers. But after World War I came about, it became Memorial Day, and it was to honor those who fought in all of our wars.
Gotcha. Okay. It's something about Decoration Day doesn't really sound as good. Like Memorial Day, you're like, oh, in memory of
right.
those.
Yeah, Decoration Day, like decorating a Christmas tree.
House.
Yeah, but I guess because the ribbons and the medals, they were called decorations.
Yeah, that makes sense though. But you have to really think about it.
Yeah, I mean, and then the vernacular back then is different now. Decorating means a decorated soldier. Now it's like decorating a house and so forth. So before we get into the episode, let's get into it's time for the news bits. I was going to get a special sound effect for this, something like that, but you do it so well.
I do it so well. I know.
Yeah.
I'm not paid enough to do it for free.
So, news bits, we got a new Omen film coming out.
I love the Omen.
October 31st. And it's being called The First Omen. And it's being described as a prequel to the original 1978 Richard Donner film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this will go. Remember the whole, shit show with The Exorcist and the first exorcism and all that? It was garbage. So, I don't know. I'm hopeful. The poster looks killer. It has like a demon hand holding
a child.
A child. It looks creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, so we'll see. And also news bits, we have I Am Legend 2 has been confirmed for 2024. I mean,
it's kind of like the same thing as Zombieland. Like, it's cool to see, 10 years afterwards, you get Zombieland 2. And it's like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when you have too many years between a sequel, from the original to the sequel, you got them, quite a few years. It kind of like you're at the point of who cares?
Yeah.
Like Avatar, even though it made a shit ton of money.
Oh, because they spent a shit ton of money
to promote it.
Yeah.
Because according to James Cameron, it's the greatest movie you'll ever see, and you'll see more than once.
Yeah. That's some cocky things to say, man.
No.
I went to watch that movie once, and I was like, okay, I get the gist. I'm okay.
Yeah, it's like, you're out there in the lobby. He comes up to you, to ask you what you thought of the movie. He's like, hey, what'd you think of the movie? Wasn't it amazing? Isn't it one of the greatest films you ever saw? Yes.
Leading much?
Yes, James, it was good.
Yeah.
But, one thing that might help this movie, it's that it's going to be with Michael B. Jordan.
I would watch anything with Michael B. Jordan. That is a man.
Yeah, he's badass. He's really good. I love them in Creed and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He was really good. Black Panther. He was in.
Killmonger.
Yeah. So that might bring in the audiences. The younger folk, and then the older folk like myself will come and watch bitch slapping Will Smith. So.
I mean, I like Will Smith, but I don't know, man.
I have nothing against the guy. What he did at the Academy Awards obviously was stupid, immature.
And it really...
And low class.
Yeah.
But is he a bad person?
No,
I don't know.
I don't blame him,
right?
for that incident. Because
he had some deep rooted issues with
Yeah.
a certain female. We're not going to talk about Jada Pinkett Smith. But I don't know. I'm down for another Will Smith film. I mean, I love the original. I Am Legend. So next up, 20th Century Fox just greenlit for they actually haven't given a release date for this, for a new Alien film.
I'm sold.
Yeah, Alien Romulus.
Romulus.
And it's basically a bunch of young people on a planet, and they encounter a bunch of aliens, and
Friday the 13th meets aliens, dude. I'm
wow.
sold.
Yeah, the xenomorph alien comes out with an axe and starts hitting people in the forehead. That's kind of cool.
No. You're not selling the idea. It's the alien, and then the machete is in its mouth, and it shoots it at the motherfuckers.
Oh, dude, you need to
I'm
you need to call up Fox.
I know, man. I know.
Call up 20th Century Fox, and because they'll hire you on the spot.
That's what I'm telling you.
I'm there. I would give my money for that.
I'm giving my money and ideas for free.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. And what's great, it's going to be written and directed by Fede Alvarez, who did Don't Breathe and the Evil Dead remake.
Oh, okay. Full confidence.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting. And of course, Disney does not like to lose money, so they're going to try to make the best version of a new Alien film possible.
Oh, that's right.
It's Disney.
Yeah,
That's
Disney now. I don't think that we'll be seeing the castle before this movie.
No. You're like, where you wish upon us. Here comes the alien and takes your eyeballs out. No, I don't think that's going to happen.
Very dope.
And also, Sigourney Weaver has already announced that she will not be returning for the new Ghostbusters film, Afterlife 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's tough to see, but I get it.
Well, she served her purpose. She basically did a cameo in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty good,
Yeah,
But,
Sigourney Weaver, dude.
And also, if she doesn't serve the story, then you got fan service, and it's just it's superfluous. You don't need that. So, but basically, that's all I got going.
Question.
Yeah.
Did you like the Prometheus movie line?
Oh,
Because I'm thinking about it now. I was like, okay, when was the last Alien movie? And technically, it was those.
Prometheus and then Covenant.
Yeah.
I liked Prometheus, but I didn't like it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Visually, the situation, the action, the storyline was great. But it's almost, okay, it was unbelievable. These people come on this spacecraft, they land on this planet, and they discover this alien craft with the aliens and stuff, right?
Right.
And they're walking through this thing, and me, I don't give a fuck how much of a professional scientist or astronaut I am. I'm gonna go like, dude, aliens, dude, spaceship. I would be so excited, right?
Yeah.
And they're walking through like, oh, there you go. Okay, where do we go? They're like so nonchalant and so like non-excited or amazed or in awe.
Emotionless.
Yeah, and they come across these little alien plants that like kill you and stuff, or this black oil, and they're like poking at it like an idiot.
Yeah.
These are scientists.
Yeah.
I mean, they came close to just like dipping their finger and tasting it. Yeah. Oh, tastes like alien shit.
Meteor shit.
So it really annoyed me in that aspect, but. The story itself I liked a lot, and the actress who was in it, I forgot her name.
I see her face. I don't know her name.
Yeah. We'll remember before the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I hope. But she was fantastic. There, the scene where she does the self-inflict, the abortion of the alien from her body. That was intense.
It was creepy to watch. And it's like hovering right about your face.
Yeah. And I liked her. I mean, to me, she was on par with Sigourney Weaver from Alien, the first two.
Yeah.
But it was kind of weak in that aspect. Then, of course, Covenant, it must have been shit because I don't remember it. And I did see it.
I know I've seen it, but I just don't remember it.
Yeah. Normally, this we would not have another Alien film, but because Disney owns it and they said, well, we have this IP now, we can sell more Alien movies, make more money, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Because they sure as shit ain't getting anywhere with the MCU within the next 5 years.
No.
Yeah. The whole Marvel thing is really going bad. So, But on to the watch report. Oh, was that your line?
No, that was kind of my line. That's
Okay.
my thing.
Well, let's roll back. So,
hey, well, before anything else, what have you seen? What have you done? What have you been watching?
well, now that you ask,
Ah,
I saw the Jake Gyllenhaal film, The Covenant.
I know exactly which. I don't know.
No.
No.
Basically, he's
Oh, wait. Okay,
Special
getting his translator.
Yeah, because he's a special operative military, like special forces,
Mhm.
and he has a translator.
Yeah, okay. It was yeah.
Military trained and so forth, and he gets left behind, and he goes back to save him. Incredibly good film.
That's a bromance right there.
It's huge bromance. I mean,
You
it's
saved me from a desert. You don't know the things that I would do to you.
yeah, because what it is that they fall under an ambush, and his entire team is killed except him and his translator,
Mhm.
and they're running away from was it Taliban or something,
Mhm.
and our Jake Gyllenhaal gets really seriously injured and almost dies, and the translator saves his life and literally drags him on a handcart through the desert, and,
Oh,
to save his life. And, he gets, they save him, but the translator gets left behind. So Jake Gyllenhaal's character is like, that's fucked up. I need to go back and get this man. I wouldn't be here.
mhm.
And he's already safe and sound at his nice house with his family and, having a barbecue, in the safety of the United States.
Mhm.
But he can't just leave
I
it.
mean, that's a life that needs to
Yeah,
be repaid,
it's exactly what it is. So it's a great film. I really enjoyed it. I'm really impressed with Jake Gyllenhaal's work. He did, what was it, Ambulance and Guilty,
Good, yeah.
and in this one, and he's got an upcoming film, Roadhouse,
Mm,
which is a remake of the Patrick Swayze 80s film.
okay.
Yeah, really, Roadhouse. Good movie. Got to check it out. It's cheesy as hell, but it's fun.
Okay.
It's really good. But that's all I've checked out recently. What about yourself?
I both started and finished The Last of Us.
Oh, finally.
Yeah.
When did that was like months ago it ended, huh?
I don't know when it ended.
How was it? What'd you think?
I liked it. Even though my coworker who played the games, he told me, "Oh, dude, you should watch The Last of Us." There's a point they're not gonna get to this point yet because it doesn't happen in the games until further. But this and this happens. I'm not gonna say what happens. And I'm like, dude.
Oh,
And he looks at me. He was like, "You never played the games, did you?" And I was like, "No."
What part did you? I mean, we can spoil it. I mean, it's been.
No, I'm not gonna spoil it for the poor people listening.
Yeah, well, that's their fault. It's been already finished for about a month now.
No. Parts further in
in
the
season
story. Okay, so the game, I don't know where it leaves off. The first season finishes off either at the end of the first game or a little before the end of the first game.
Oh, so he spoiled
What he
what's
told
coming.
me about is about the second story, the part 2 game, like The Last of Us 2.
Ah.
So he told me that.
So you know what's going to happen next?
Yes.
Oh, that sucks ass.
Yes.
Did you smack him at least?
No.
Man.
Managers were around and watching.
Yeah, I hate it when people watch.
I know. Let me commit violence and peace, man.
Yeah. So
And about committing violence and peace in the
Okay.
name of peace.
yes.
That was your segue
two.
to the Memorial Day episode.
Oh!
We've been blabbering on for the past damn near 14 minutes.
Well,
And
okay.
It's a Memorial Day episode. So about fighting to restore peace.
Okay. Good.
That is a good segue.
Very good segue that I
Yes.
totally missed.
You missed it.
It went like a F-18 fighter jet went right by me. I didn't even see it.
You hear it, you don't see it.
I didn't see it. Okay, well, that was good. Okay, so let's get into this. So like I said, we're going to discuss 3 films that I think epitomize the bravery and the honor of our fighting men and women and through past conflicts and wars. And yes.
Wait, okay. Sorry, that was a 3-syllable word. Epitome, isn't that like a bad?
No, epitome is good. It's kind of like epitome is kind of like it's the perfect example of.
Okay.
So that's epitome.
Oh, okay. So like putting it on the pedestal and saying this is
The prime
greatest.
example.
Okay.
So now, so like I was saying,
Less than 2 syllables, please.
okay. So the first film we're going to talk about it's pretty much a heartbreaking tale. I just recently saw it again about the Battle of Mogadishu back in 1992 or 93.
thousands of Somali militia. I need help now.
Where's the rescue squad? We're in.
The story of 160 elite United States soldiers who are dropped into Mogadishu in October of 1993 to capture 2 top lieutenants of a renegade warlord, but found themselves in a desperate battle with a large force of heavily armed Somalis. The film is Black Hawk Down from 1991, directed by Ridley Scott. Stars Josh Hartnett, Ian McGregor, Tom Sizemore, and Orlando Bloom.
Ian McGregor?
Yeah, he was in it. It's an interesting story. I'll tell you in a bit about his character, but those who don't know, Ian McGregor is the new Obi-Wan Kenobi. And he was in that.
Oh.
Yeah, and he did it. He was amazing. He was really, really good.
And directed by Ridley Scott.
Yeah. So you've obviously seen this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is a heartbreaker and a tribute to the bravery and the amazing resolute nature of our fighting forces. They were outnumbered immensely. It was
those numbers just
160, and they were up against well over 1,000 armed Somalis.
Each man is in charge of 10.
Yeah, it was insane. I remember it's especially heartbreaking when I watched the film. I've seen it several times, but I remember when I was, when it first happened,
mm-hmm.
and watching, I don't know if it was CNN or one of those news channels, and they showed the pilot of one of the Black Hawks who was dead already being dragged through the streets.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, I think that was the moment where our nation collectively cried.
Yeah.
Because it was horrible.
I mean, it's tough to see.
It is. And, they kind of recreated the scene in the film, but they don't show the dragging through the streets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was just brutal.
It would be tough to do in a movie.
Yeah. I mean, but for the most part, I remember when it first happened, I saw a documentary that's actually on the special edition DVD of this, or Blu-ray. And the documentary is told by several service members from the Rangers who were there. Mm-hmm. And the movie captures the bulk in detail a lot of what's happening. I mean, the scene when the first Black Hawk gets hit and it goes down, I remember seeing that footage on television, and it was incredible. But Ridley Scott is just an amazing director.
Yeah.
He uses this kind of like washed color palette
mm-hmm.
for his cinematography. There's no bright reds or bright greens or bright blues. You feel it visually
mm-hmm.
that you're in the desert. He uses a very
gritty, almost
very gritty, and again, it's kind of like a washed out kind of color palette. Mm-hmm. And just incredible. And it really sets the mood, because this is not a flashy action movie, like Die Hard or Lethal Weapon, with the lens flare or anything like that. And
not directed by Michael Bay.
No, Michael Bay would have had robots and shit in this or something, drones. But it was very, you're able to kind of touch upon each character. I mean, obviously out of 160 soldiers that were there, they had to really break it down to just a few characters that they were able to focus on, mm-hmm. because there was so much. I mean, but getting back to Ian McGregor,
right?
Most of the characters are based on real Rangers,
okay,
who were in the conflict, with the exception of McGregor's character.
So he was created for the movie,
and the reason for that being is that the guy, because the real guy was, because he's an office clerk,
okay,
in the film, and same thing, and he gets called, up from behind the desk to go on this mission, which he was all, oh shit, I get to go on a mission. So that kind of did happen, but they changed his name, mm-hmm. and they kind of also just elaborated on his character and just kind of created a whole new character, because the actual guy, and I'm not going to say soldier,
mm-hmm.
he was busted for child pornography. And I don't know if it was pedophilia as well, the physical act, but he's in prison now. And so immediately the DOD, they made sure that the production company changed his name, and hence that's why they changed his character around.
I mean, that would make sense. You don't want to give like fame to somebody who did something so
Yeah, he even
low
won.
bottom of the barrel.
He
shitty.
won the Silver Star,
Jesus Christ.
and they took it away from him.
Good.
And he dishonored and just a piece of shit. So thank goodness he's serving prison time still. And but yeah, that was the only character that was changed around and just given a completely different name. So in a way, they erased him from history,
From the events, yeah.
and that's good. And
History is written by the victors.
right, exactly. And so, and you know who else is in this? Tom Hardy is in this.
Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy. It's his first film.
Huh.
The first, and he was really good. Do you remember?
What a way to start your acting career.
Remember the two Rangers that were left behind? They're like, okay, you guys secure this corner, and we'll be back for you.
Vaguely.
And then they're sitting there, and it's all quiet, and they're like, they get shot at, and they start shooting, and one soldier, he fires his machine gun really close to the other guy's ear, and he gets deaf.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Hardy.
Oh.
Not the guy who goes deaf,
Yeah,
the guy who was shooting.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was really, really good in that. And also, you remember the film American Sniper?
Oh, yeah. That was the one with
Bradley Cooper.
Ese, yeah.
About Chris Kyle.
That was a tough ending, man.
Yeah, well, according to him, this film is shown during Hell Week to Navy SEALs that are in training.
Are they giving popcorn?
Well, I don't know about popcorn, but they show them this
That's
film
tough.
to inspire them.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, do you remember the final run, when they're going towards the Pakistani border?
Dude, it's been years. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And, because they couldn't fit on the transports or anything, and a bunch of them had to run
Okay.
to safety. And it was roughly about a mile. And it's
Yeesh.
called the Mogadishu Mile. And in the service now, in basic training and a lot of special forces, they run the Mogadishu Mile
Oh,
in honor or in just to let them, it's like
this is what you might be doing.
go through exactly. But it had a great cast. Again, it's Tom Sizemore, although Orlando Bloom was in it. He was in it for like a quick second because he was this gung-ho young private first class who's ready to go battle, and he's the one who falls off the helicopter. When he's going down, he's rappelling down the rope, and there's an RPG going towards them, and they kind of shake off the RPG, and he falls to his death.
Oh,
yeah, that was Orlando Bloom. So if you watch him, there's Orlando. Okay, that's it.
Okay, that was Orlando.
That was Orlando Bloom. And Tom Sizemore, who played I think he was a sergeant in this. This is like the second time he plays a soldier. But he was the one who kind of walks around. There's like all kinds of bullets flying by and shit. And he's just kind of like walking by very casual, like, hey, you move over here, you go over here. And, he's very like John Wayne-like,
Yeah.
Everybody's ducking and hiding. He's just like, oh, this is bullshit. You over here.
Organized people.
Oh, he was great. He just recently passed away, unfortunately. But he was also in Saving Private Ryan with Tom Hanks. So this is the second time he plays like an army sergeant, and he played him the same way. Unfortunately, Tom Sizemore, again, he passed away recently. He had a lot of issues with drug addiction, and it got the best of him. But he was a damn good actor. He was in a film called True Romance. In a couple other films, but yeah, a really great character actor, so overall, what's amazing what's just jaw-dropping was that, unfortunately, we, of 160, Army Rangers, we lost roughly about 19 soldiers in that conflict out of 160. But
I mean, thinking about it like this, if you're faced up against 1,019, it's not a super high number. It could have been a lot worse, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah. Well, we took out roughly between 500 and 2,000 of theirs. And again, that is a testament to the fighting spirit and the bravery and the brotherhood that these men and women have in our armed forces. And they refuse to give up. And, they have the best, in my opinion, the best training in the world. And they're just resolute and in their objectives and just amazing human beings who we owe our freedoms, and we owe that to them. So the next one up on this, I think it's a it's a perfect bookend companion to Black Hawk Down. Didn't get the same exposure and distribution and attention that it should have got, but we'll get into that in just a bit. But to me, it's just as effective.
Now show him some love with the 120s.
You all right, mate? Come on, put your arms around me. You're not gonna die, okay? RPG! Red platoon! We're taking this bitch back.
So in this one, this is about a small team of U.S. soldiers that battles against hundreds of Taliban fighters in Afghanistan during the Afghan War. Several outposts were placed to control the Taliban movement and their supply chain. One being Camp Keating, situated in a valley surrounded by mountains, was one of them. While being shot at daily by Taliban assassins, and it was just a regular thing every day, until one day they get overrun by over 400 Taliban to attack them. And there was only like 50 soldiers at this outpost. The film we're talking about is The Outpost from 2019, directed by Rod Lurie. The film stars Scott Eastwood.
Oh, nice. Clint Eastwood's son.
And Orlando Bloom again. And this time he doesn't fall out of a helicopter.
And die within the first, couple scenes.
For the first act. This one is a really great one. I actually came across this, or rather the story of this battle, through a series on Netflix called Medal of Honor.
Oh, okay.
And it was like 6 or 8 episodes. And what they would do is they would tell the story of a soldier or a Marine or a sailor or an airman who was awarded the Medal of Honor. And it told their story. Great series. If you have not seen it, see it. It's amazing. It's all reenacted, but it's almost cinematic. The way they reenact it, it's not cheaply done. Robert Zemeckis, who directed.
Oh, nice. Okay, Back to the Future.
Back to the Future director. It's his production, and he goes all out to do the reenactments, and it's just amazing. So out of those 6 or 7 episodes, or whatever episodes they were, the first episode is about a soldier who was awarded the Medal of Honor, who was at this conflict in Afghanistan at this outpost. The last episode of that same series is about another soldier in the same battle who also won the Medal of Honor.
Damn.
And this was back in 2018 when the series came out. And I was like, oh my God, it's an incredible story. This should be a fucking movie.
And they read your mind.
They read my mind. They heard me. And I got nothing from it. But hey, you know what? It got made. Around shortly after that, I read about it in the trade magazines that it was in production. It was almost done and so forth. And it was supposed to come out in 2019. But it didn't come out. And then finally, it was scheduled for 2020 in March.
And that got delayed because COVID.
Just that same month, March of 2020. And so again, it got delayed, and eventually it got released on video on demand and streaming. So it didn't get a theatrical run. Had it, gone that venue of, to theatrically, I think it would have garnered a lot more attention. I mean, it was received very well by critics. It had some pretty good scores. Rotten Tomatoes scores were up there. It had like a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
And I think it was like on Metacritic, it got like a 71. So it did really well critically, and people who saw it enjoyed it. The VOD numbers were really good. Unfortunately, it didn't get the cinematic run that it deserved.
I mean, so did a lot of movies in around that time. So it was not a good time for cinema that year.
Yeah.
For those couple of years.
Oh, it was terrible. And unfortunately, this film was victim to that whole debacle. But basically, it's interesting. Several soldiers in this film during the combat sequences were actually at this command outpost.
Okay.
They were actually there, and I guess they were extras. And they were technical advisors for all that. I mean, they're there like, no.
They were much higher than this. You need to like up the ante.
Yeah, exactly. So one really interesting piece of casting was Scott Eastwood. This guy is a carbon copy of his dad, Clint Eastwood. He has the same look. He even
Face and
has
everything.
the voice, even the squint he does with his eyes.
The little, yeah.
It's
Like
him.
he almost got dirt in his eyes, and he's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to scratch it.
But he's not an excellent actor yet.
Yeah, give him a little bit more time and experience.
Yeah, he's very good in this. I mean, and Orlando Bloom is great in it. But again, it's so sad that this movie didn't get the credit that it deserved. But it serves as an excellent bookend kind of film for Black Hawk Down. You watch that one, you watch this one, they go perfect together.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's heartbreaking, it's gut wrenching because unfortunately we lost some service members, some soldiers in that conflict. Mm-hmm. But it was 50 of them versus hundreds and hundreds of freaking Taliban from higher ground.
Disadvantage.
Yeah, the Taliban had the higher ground, and for all practical purposes, they should have taken it within minutes. Mm-hmm. But our guys, they fought hard. But it's a great story about bravery and the gumption to survive. An amazing film. But you got to see it. It's really
this one I have seen.
The Outpost.
Yeah, we watched it together.
Oh,
you were describing it, and I was like, okay, no, I've seen this.
I thought you didn't see it.
No, because I remember seeing this.
Oh, well, okay, good film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's the one. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the one where the I don't know what level of higher up, but a higher up comes in and he's kind of like walking around with the high head and saying like, oh, this shouldn't be done this way or this shouldn't be done that way.
I think so.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
But I know, you know what? You're right. You were there seeing. You watched it with us.
I remember seeing it. I just don't remember much of it.
Okay. All right. Wow. I totally forgot. So now our final entry takes place during World War II in Okinawa, Japan, and it's a true story of courage and honor.
I always dreamed about being a doctor, but didn't get much school. I can't stay here while all them go fight for me.
But you figure this war is just going to fit in with your ideas?
While everybody else is taking life, I'm gonna be saving it. That's gonna be my way to serve.
World War II American Army medic Desmond T. Doss, who served during the Battle of Okinawa, refuses to kill people and carry a weapon and becomes the first man in American history to receive the Medal of Honor without firing a shot. The film is Hacksaw Ridge from 2016, directed by Mel Gibson. And the film stars Andrew Garfield. And this one you did see?
This one I did see, yeah.
Okay.
Before Garfield was Spider-Man, I think?
Yeah.
After?
No,
during?
it was
during,
after.
During
or after?
Sometime period, it was around the same time.
Yeah, and it was a great departure for him to do something like this because he didn't get pigeonholed into doing superhero films.
Yeah.
And he does an amazing job in this.
No, he's a good actor, though.
And, the whole crux of the situation takes place where they're down on the beach and they're below a cliff that's, 300 feet high or something like that, or I don't know how many feet high. Mm-hmm. And there's wounded at the top, and they have to bring them all down. And he goes back and forth and brings them all down one by one by one. Just an incredible story of courage and honor. Just an amazing film. They said that he saved approximately 50 soldiers, but witnesses there at the actual combat situation, they said it was closer to about 100 that he saved. And then so they said roughly about 100, and then overall it was 75. So this 50 count was much higher.
Yeah, no, it was for sure higher. I mean, if some people are saying 100, some people are saying 75, 50 is on the low end. You know what I mean? Yeah. This film, actually, they tried to make this into a film back in the 50s. Mm-hmm. There was this producer named Hal B. Wallace, who actually, he produced a lot of Elvis films, a lot of these cheesy, corny Elvis movies back in the 60s. But Hal B. Wallace, he tried to buy the story from Desmond T. Ross and hoped that Audie Murphy would be in the film. Audie Murphy was a cowboy and war movie star back in that era. Mm-hmm. But Doss said no. Oh.
Yeah, he didn't want his story turned into a typical goody two-shoe Hollywood movie because he knew they wouldn't do it justice. I'm glad they didn't. I mean, I love a lot of these films from the 50s, 40s and 50s, these war films. They were pretty good, but they were gung-ho and they were very unrealistic. And I think that films from that era about, war films, they didn't really cover the gray area of war.
Mm-hmm.
The mental
toll that it has.
Yeah, the mental toll, the PTSD factor. They didn't cover a lot of that in those films. I mean, you got these super big Hollywood movie stars that were going in and do these heroic things during war, and they're like, oh, and they were like nothing. They wouldn't affect them. It wasn't very realistic, and I think Doss saw that, in that he didn't want his story told that way, and I'm glad again, and it wasn't until Mel Gibson came around, and
years later.
And did an amazing job. Say what you will about Mel Gibson, but the guy's an amazing fucking director.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Braveheart and The Patriot, The Passion of the Christ, Apocalypto.
Mm.
The guy's
Apocalypto was him?
Yeah, he directed that.
Damn, okay.
He's no joke. He's a great director, and he continues to direct. He's got a film. He's working on The Resurrection of Christ.
Okay.
And is currently in production. I believe it should be out next year, but it's just a beautifully told story about a true American hero. And, and Doss never considered himself a hero. He just said he was
doing the right thing.
Yeah. That battle scene, that epic battle scene at the cliff, it took like 19 days to shoot.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was very, very intricate and detailed. And Gibson, he's not Kubrick level perfectionist, because Kubrick will fucking take 48 takes on one shot. Mel Gibson's not that bad, but he does, he is very meticulous. And again, if you watch his films like Braveheart and Apocalypto, you can see where his perfection is. But the film, once it was released and it was shown at a film festival. What film festival? Oh, Venice.
Mm-hmm.
When they premiered it at the Venice Film Festival, it received a 9-minute, 48-second standing ovation.
How do you think they time these things?
Well,
do they have somebody standing by, just kind of like,
yeah, they did.
And start.
Yeah, Mel Gibson.
Oh shit.
He timed it himself. The movie finished, and I guess he started applauding. They stood up, and he, checked his watch. Okay. Wow, 9 minutes, 48 seconds. And they sat down, click, okay. So he actually timed it himself. But it was, definitely deserved that kind of ovation. It's an amazing film. Did you know Harry S. Truman, president, was the one who awarded Doss the Medal of Honor?
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know what Truman did in his candidacy, because that was before my time.
Yeah,
but,
and they called. They said they would tell him, you're a true hero. He goes, no, the real heroes are still buried over there.
Damn.
Oh God.
That's
yeah, but yeah, it's just it's an amazing film, and again, the performances all around, the battle sequence are intense. Just an amazing film. Really, really good. So let's talk about other notable entries in this category of true stories about combat and conflicts. First one, there's a film called Memphis Belle.
Mm-hmm.
And this was from 1990s, I believe. It was in the 90s. And it's a B-17, the story of a B-17 bomber.
Okay.
That was the first one that was about to finish their complete tour without getting shot.
And I'm guessing it gets shot?
Well, they're on their 23rd mission and the 24th, and 25 is their final.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the Department of Defense wants to focus on this because it's a big deal, to promote the war and more, get more people behind it and stuff. And they're like, well, they're just doing their job.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they finish all 25 missions. However, they, like, with one wheel missing and part of the wing shot off and everything. It's an amazing film. Really, really great. So they get shot up really, really, really good on that last mission, and they almost don't make it back. Matthew Modine's in it. Harry Connick Jr. It's an amazing film. It's really, really good. Another one is from 2013, Lone Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen this?
Sounds familiar.
with Mark Wahlberg, and it's a story of Marcus Luttrell, Navy SEAL. When his team, they go out on a mission. It's more recon. They're they're getting information, and that's all it is. Go in, take pictures, get information, get out of there.
Right.
And they get spotted by a little boy and his goat walking through. This is in Taliban territory, and so his team is like him and like 3 or 4 other guys. So this kid sees him. What do? Do they shoot the kid? No. Do they tie the kid up? No. They'll probably never find him. He get eaten by wolves. So they don't know what to do. So he's like, just let him go and let's get out of here. Sure enough, the fucking kid goes back and tells the Taliban, hey, there's Americans up there. So now you get this small team of SEALs being chased down by hundreds and hundreds of Taliban soldiers.
True.
And it's again, another true story. The entire team gets taken out, but they not without a fight.
Right.
I mean, they between the team to the end of the story, they must have taken 100 to Taliban in the process. Just 4 or 5 guys. And the lone survivor is Luttrell, which is played by Mark Wahlberg. Brutally intense, gut-wrenching, heartbreaking. Again, most of these films are heartbreaking, what they go through and what they have to do. But just an amazing film. If you haven't seen it, do
It's
yourself
a good watch. Yeah.
Oh, it's a damn good watch. Another one is from 2018. It's a film called 12 Strong. And this is with Chris Hemsworth.
Okay.
And it's a true story of some Army Special Forces or Green Berets who within weeks of the 9/11 attacks, they're the first to set foot in this conflict in Afghanistan. It's really intense. What's great about it is there's this, they're known as, what was it, the horsemen or the soldiers on horses or something like that? Because they end up having to, with the Mujahideen, ride horses to battle the Taliban. Oh God!
I remember seeing. I don't remember watching the movie, but I remember seeing the trailer where they're on horseback.
Yeah, and it's these 12 special forces, and it's incredible. It's a really good film. But overall, all these films. This is another film that's really good called the 13 Hours: The Secret War of Benghazi. And they weren't soldiers that were involved in this conflict. They were ex-military, and they worked special private security in Benghazi. And they were nearby when the U.S. embassy was taken over and the ambassador was murdered. And there was a lot of personnel, American personnel there. And the U.S. government, the department, the State Department, they dragged their ass to, in sending Marines to help them out. And these guys, they're not military anymore, but they took an oath. And when you take that oath, you're bound by it, even though you're not wearing that uniform. And these guys went in and they kicked ass and they saved a bunch of people. And you know what they got in return?
Nothing.
Not a goddamn thing. They didn't get no medals, no recognition. They didn't even get an Air Force transport to flying back to the States.
Damn.
It was horseshit. And they were true heroes. An incredible film. And a definite tale of courage. And there's bombs and shit exploding and people getting murdered. And these guys are like, we need to get there. We need to save people. And they put themselves in harm's way.
Put some action into it.
Yeah, and the whole conflict took was 13 hours, hence the title of the film. Really, really good. So overall, I mean, sometimes these films, they're difficult to watch.
Yeah.
But we need to. Now, all bullshit politics aside, it's not about Democrat, it's not about Republican, it's not a bunch of these retards in Washington. That's not what it's all about. I mean, these films are a reminder of the sacrifices made on the battlefield for freedom, justice, and love, because it's about love. It's for the love of their brothers and sisters beside them in these combat situations, and for the love of the people they have at home, that so they may not see this threat of tyranny or horrific, coming to the shores of our country.
Yeah.
So we definitely need to be reminded of this and be grateful and not just get shit-faced drunk on Memorial Day and make an ass of yourself, but stop and remember that what this day is about. It's to remember and to pay tribute to these brave men and women. And again, what's great about these films is that it reminds us what a true hero is. They don't wear spandex. They don't have capes. You know, these are the ones who carry 60 pounds of gear on their backs through 100-degree plus temperatures, all for freedom, all for justice, all to protect the innocent. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Very, very important. So, and again, we have our freedom because of them, and we're safe from tyranny because of them. So before you light up that grill or get ready to jump in that pool, take a moment of silence and remember them on this Memorial Day.
That was deep. That was profound. Thank you.
Thank you. And so any parting words before we close out this episode?
Thank you to all who have served.
Absolutely.
No joke there.
Yeah.
No pun. No funny little witty comment.
It's the
Thank
honest.
you to all who have served.
Exactly. And we pray for those who are no longer with us and made the ultimate sacrifice.
Hoorah.
Hoorah. All right. So we hope you've enjoyed our episode, our show, and we hope you join us next week with an all-new episode. So please help to support the pod by giving us a 5-star rating, good review. Another way you can help to support the pod is simply to follow us and subscribe to us on Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Audible, Boomplay, or wherever you get your podcast fix. You can also recommend us to a friend, an enemy.
A veteran who is living in your neighborhood.
Absolutely. And all these links, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and our YouTube channel. For announcements, we have all kinds of good stuff on there. And also, again, regards to Facebook, that's where we drop our promos and trailers for our upcoming episodes. You can also contact us directly by email to thefilmjoepod@gmail.com. We love to hear your feedback, complaints,
comments about how you are thinking about enlisting.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
And so that's about it. Again, all those links, they're in our show notes, so please check them out and pay us a visit on Facebook. So that's about it.
About it, yeah.
I'm Joe.
I'm Carlos.
And this is the Filmjoe Podcast, where film talk happens.